Okay. Uh, shoot. I'm going to talk today about why reading books is important, and I'll start it off with this Calvin and Hobbes comic, where Calvin doesn't want to read a book, so he flips through the entire thing, goes out to play frisbee. I wish it was that easy. But I propose that each person should strive to read a book a month. And the reason that we should strive to read a book a month is because reading increases the health of our brains. It's very effective at reducing stress, and it's enjoyable. It's a very widely researched field, and there's a reason that primary schools and that younger kids are encouraged to read a lot, but for whatever reason, this encouragement and this push to read kind of fizzles out as we get older. But reading is just as important as we age, if not more important. So, these are just some of the reasons to try and read a book a month, and I'll start by talking about the health of your brain. So we have this quote right here that says, "Becoming engrossed in a novel enhances connectivity in the brain and improves brain function, especially in the left temporal cortex and primary sensory motor region of the brain," which is kind of a mouthful. But what this means, basically, is that your brain has to work hard when it reads. It has to incorporate a whole bunch of regions of your brain. It has to coordinate all these regions that don't usually work together, including areas that are involved in visualization, language, empathy, and even deeper regions of your brain, like the brainstem and amygdala, which is involved with fear and other responses. But yeah, the big takeaway about that is that reading makes your brain work out, which has significant consequences, or I guess that's the right word. For example, people who engage their brains in activities such as reading, solving puzzles, or playing chess are 2.5 times less likely to develop Alzheimer's. And that's from the Sleep Matters Club. And yeah, that just shows the level at which reading keeps your brain engaged. So to continue talking about how reading keeps your brain healthy, it activates the sensory cortex, which is what I touched on earlier, with all these regions coordinating, and that has benefits for the plasticity of your brain, especially for adults. Children have very plastic brains. They can change easily, they can learn quick, and as we age, we lose that ability. But reading enhances our plasticity and keeps it alive longer. Brain plasticity has been described as use it or lose it, and reading keeps that part of your brain healthy. And then, lastly, regular readers show lower rates of depression compared to non-readers, which is obviously very important for having a healthy brain in life. So the second reason you should aim to read a book a month is for the de-stressing properties of reading. The University of Sussex in the UK researched the impact of reading on stress, and they saw that reading a book for 6 minutes can decrease stress more than taking a walk, more than listening to music, or more than enjoying a cup of tea, which just shows how much reading can decrease stress in your brain. But there's more to it than that, because they've shown that when you read for longer than 6 minutes, when you read for an hour or 2 hours, you achieve deep focus, or it's been called flow state. This is where your brain is completely focused on one task, and this is really good for decreasing stress and keeping your brain healthy, because especially in today's day and age, we don't have a lot of time where we can be completely focused on one task with all these distractions. That has implications, as I'll talk about here, implications for sleep, which it turns out that in America, about 70% of adults report having troubled sleep at least one time in the last month. My dad has pretty bad insomnia, and he's tried a lot of different ways to deal with it, and one of the best ways he says, is he'll pull out this dense history, I guess not novel, dense history book before he goes to sleep, and he'll basically bore himself to sleep. I don't know if that would be effective for everyone, but there was a study done by the same people I talked about earlier, the Sleep Matters Club, in which they saw that when participants in the study read before going to sleep, 40% reported improved sleep just by pulling out a novel. So, that is the second reason that I think you should try to read a book a month, is for the de-stressing properties. And the third reason that I think you should try to read a book a month is because reading books is enjoyable. So, according to the Reading Agency, reading books for pleasure has been shown to increase quality of life, in that it increases empathy. When you read, you have to visualize yourself in the shoes of someone else. You have to see from somebody else's perspective. And because of this increased empathy, avid readers, have been shown to have improved relationships, probably because they can relate to each other and communicate better from their reading. Again, it's been shown to reduce symptoms of depression, improve overall well-being. I think most of us are interested in leading fulfilling and relatively happy lives, and developing an interest in books. That's a good step in that direction, in the direction towards leading a better life in general. And then, on the same subject, reading brings you enjoyment. Just from my personal thoughts, I think reading is really interesting. A lot of people get, I think, a bad vibe, a bad idea of reading from the books we have to read in school, but I promise there's a book out there that you would love, that would captivate and demand your attention. And I say this because people do. They pour their lives into writing books, and they make super awesome stories. There's a book out there for you that you would enjoy. So, pick up a book. It'll increase the health of your brain. It'll decrease the amount of stress you experience, and it could help you sleep better. And it'll bring you just general enjoyment. You can get something like this. This is a Kindle. This simple Kindle right here, this is one of the simpler versions. This can hold 20 or 30,000 books. So, we have things like this. We have technology like this that makes reading a lot easier. I think you should try to read a book a month, and I hope I helped to convince you. Here's my works cited, Psychology Today. We have the... Alright, thanks.